My wife was Mary Rita Gallagher. You can't forget the Gallagher. Her mother was Ann Gallagher. Her mother was born and raised in New York, and that's where she first encountered Our Lady of Good Counsel in New York. Her mother would send her over to the bakery to get bread, and on certain days of the week they'd have 2 for 1. She'd tell her to take the extra loaf over and donate it, and that's what she did. They closed it down in New York, and then they moved it to Minneapolis.
My husband worked here from the time he almost finished medical school when he was in his residency as a volunteer. He was asked by Wayne, Dr. Thaliber, to join him. And that's when we started coming every Sunday. And it was so nice.
When I was the age of 3, my dad was the volunteer doctor here, and he brought me over, and that was my first exposure to the sisters, and it changed my life. My dad would come every week. I'd get to come with the sisters, hang out with them. They became members of our family. Every holiday was here. Every Christmas, every Easter, every 4th of July, we helped with the picnic. My children grew up here, were welcomed here. The Dominican Hawthorne Sisters were here when I was little, and they were here until recently. In the old building, it was a donated office building from a telephone company. So unlike today, it was an open office floor plan. Now, they're beautiful places that the family can eat, bring lunches in, have time together.
My husband said this was the closest place to heaven on earth. And I think he really meant that.
Mr. Brown, I'm John Buchanan. I'm a volunteer here. I'm a veteran. You were in the Army.
Yes, I was.
We want to thank you for your service to our nation. Thank you for your sacrifices you made and your willingness to serve our country. You endured hardships and you are willing to risk your life to maintain our freedom. On behalf of our staff, please accept our thanks and gratitude. When you see this pin, you know that your service to our nation is deeply appreciated, and we thank you.
These are the guys who's on the front line here, who's helping not only me, but all the other patients that are here, you know, in the latter stages of our lives, you know, to leave here with some dignity. When I first came here, I was a dead man walking. And from then until now has been, I have to say, a miracle. The type of love and warmth that's, you know, being given to me by the staff, like I say, it's been a godsend. I've been looking for these things for about the past month. And I know we did it, Sarah. Thank you. Yes, you did. All of you guys.
It really means so much to them. And I don't think they think the general public understands what being at war really was.
In my mind, what it does is, at a very vulnerable and very open point in a person's life, a veteran who served his country in some capacity gets recognized for that, even as death approaches.
It does make a difference knowing that a facility like this is available, you know, and that they do care about veterans. To veterans, that is a big deal.
The freeway is right there.
When they were putting that sound wall up, the nuns went out and stopped them from continuing that wall any further than it is right now, just for the simple fact that the people that were in the building here enjoyed seeing the traffic and stuff like that.
Watching the
And they were able to stop that sound wall from being completed up to the end of the block.
Which is,
The
again,
nuns did that.
the power of a nun. When you get 3 nuns walked outside and put a stop to the work crew, you can
Yeah.
almost hear the conversation when the guy called his boss and said, "Hey, I got a problem. I got 3 nuns here and they don't want me to pump. They tell me I can't go any farther." Yeah, well, you come and tell them they can't.
I'm not
Yep.
telling the nun no.
That's the way I perceive it. I noticed the wall stopped. You know, they started on the next block again.
They never accepted money from the family.
Oh, they would send it back.
Yeah, and they were like your friend. You know?
Well, it was like
They
a
were-
family.
they were
Yeah.
It's a huge
Yeah, when
family.
you hear that word family, they were like,
One thing about them is that it didn't matter who we were. I mean, we could be black, white, pink, purple, Muslim, Jewish, whatever. It was just your relationship, you know, with them.
There's no prejudice at all.
No, none whatsoever.
The night shift into morning, till
Oh,
7 o'clock in the morning.
well, they still had to do cares.
And then and then
So the shift was like 7:30 at night to like 10 in the morning.
she had to say, "I'm not a morning person."
No.
Well, you would understand why.
yeah, yeah.
Getting to sleep.
But God is what gets them through.
This was their home.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was the residents' home. That's why everything was always first class, because it was all for the residents. Nothing was spared.
Because patients came first.
Absolutely. And they still do. Darn it all, we miss them.
Yeah, we all do.
We should take a bus ride out there.
The new sisters are just part of the magical quilt that the other sisters had left. The legacy continues, but we miss them.
This is our butterfly release. It started as a way to invite families and loved ones to come back to see us and to have the butterfly release. It's kind of a symbolic gesture. And we were trying to think of an event that would commemorate kind of a symbolic way to recognize all the patients that we care for and to recognize the staff that has cared for those patients as well. It's very therapeutic. It's therapeutic for our staff to know that people are still doing okay, and it's therapeutic for the family members to know that their loved ones still being remembered and still being honored.
I've always thought of it as holy ground, actually. For me, the most important part of describing Our Lady of Peace is the sense of love that is here, a sense of not awe, but of reverence for the position in life that the client is experiencing.
It is a dream in a very hard situation.
I climbed in bed and they brought the blankets up and said, "Now, is there anything we can get for you?" And I said, "No, not except a cup of coffee. Be right back." Went down the hall and came back with a cup of coffee. And it's been that way ever since. Everything.